Hey YouTube, hope you guys are doing well today. Um, I'm actually, I think this is kind of a cycle that hopefully I'll be able to see more clearly. But in the morning times, with the sickness and all that, the anxiety, I'm usually sort of um, all dread and doom and gloom. But the actual movement of my life and the things that are happening are um, invigorating, stimulating, satisfying, rewarding. And I realized that before my ex broke up with me about a month ago now, I was kind of living in this little personal hell. I was trapped in this cycle of having meltdowns and being overwhelmed and not knowing what I would do in the future. And yeah. And then the meltdowns were too much for her, and she left. And rather than my life getting easier, it got harder because then I had to manage my autism and PTSD and my chronic health conditions, my morning nausea, and my deviated septum that closes my nose like almost completely when I'm trying to sleep. All those things make it really hard to stay composed and to get rest, adequate rest. But I've had to survive. I've had to figure it out, and I've had to find jobs and do some interviews. And today I met with the building manager, and he went over the. Ow! My cat just scratched me. He went over the procedures of how to clean the building, and we were chit chatting a bit. And um, when my ex was here, I was always like the quiet one in the couple, and usually would feel like it was easier for her to interact with people. So that's usually what would happen: is she would interact and I would be in the background. Usually feeling like for the last many years, my kind of social complex has been that I feel like the odd one out, that nobody understands me, that I'm too weird, I'm too sensitive, and I don't know what to say, and I just kind of fall into the background, and nobody cares if I'm there or even wants me there, and it's just not fun. Most of the time, it's kind of stressful, but yeah, just being here on my own as an individual and having to get stuff done and interact with new people and different situations. It is scary in the mornings before I've gone to my interviews, especially today. I was, oddly enough, I was feeling way more nervous today, maybe because the stress of the interview yesterday was accumulating in my body, even though I was, you know, being cool about it and not really worrying too much. It was still an accumulation of stress. And so today I was really wiped out. I felt like I got no sleep. But I still did it. I had a nice interview, and I even interacted with a customer there who sat next to me while he was eating his meal. Um, and yeah, I had good vibes about all of the whole day, and it's beautiful out there. It's kind of out in the boonies a little bit relative to where I am now, and it's a nice day. I enjoyed getting on the bus. So all of these things would not have happened if I was told to go to a interview in the boonies 2 months ago before my ex broke up with me. I would have tried and probably had a meltdown before I actually got out the door or something, because I didn't have that same urgency to survive in order to maintain my housing all on my own, or have to go somewhere else. So I'm really grateful that in this time of do or die, so to speak, my nervous system has been yeah, very anxious in the mornings and sometimes throughout the day, but overall I'm handling, and I'm actually, weirdly enough, having a really good, interesting time. I've said in a a video I just uploaded, but I also made a new friend for the first time in years at the autism support group that I go to. And afterwards he called me and we chit-chatted for an hour. I don't I don't chit-chat with my friends. I don't have friends at this point in my life, except for this guy, I guess. Um, I'll chit-chat with my family members, a few of them, but I've never really had friends that I would do that with on the phone. So it was cool, and I mentioned this, but I have to mention it again because it's too weird. My first name's Eric, his first name's Eric. Our last names have two syllables, and the first syllable is the exact same sound, and the next syllable is not very different. So if my name was McGuire, his would be like McGear or something like that. It actually sounds even closer than that. But it's really weird. I've never met anyone with almost my exact same name. I know they're out there, but to see one in person, it's pretty unusual. And it just so happened that we've been getting along so far anyway. I've enjoyed talking to him, and yeah. So I wouldn't have put myself out there if I wasn't feeling the necessity. So I guess, I should have been doing it all along, but I guess I needed that extra boost to get myself to change and do different things. And I'm glad I am, because I was sort of feeling like, I've said this before in videos, but my future started to feel like, oh, well, I just don't want to have any more meltdowns. So I just want everything to be stable and no stress. And I stopped having goals aside from that to not have any more meltdowns. But now, like, my goal is to find satisfying or, decently suitable employment to support myself and my little guy, my little kitty man. Yeah, and I really like where I live, so it's important for me to stay here. So I have a mission, and it's all for me, and I'm not in school anymore, so like there's no other like routines that I'm having to work around. It's just me and Doug, and however I manage to support us. So the first job I interviewed for on Thursday was actually an overnight position, and I thought that I wouldn't be able to do that, but when I talked to a guy, it's for the local crisis line, and I called the crisis line this morning when I was feeling really anxious, and I talked to the guy about it. And he did that job before, and he said it's really chill because there's nobody in the office hardly, because they don't want people to hear other folks in the background when they call. So they spread their people out. There's a lot of downtime, and if I'm like sick and need to use the bathroom, it's okay. And they're very accommodating. If I have like an ongoing health condition I need an accommodation for. So he was very affirming that he thought that I would be able to handle it. And that actually made me feel better, because yeah, I'll try it. I'll try being half nocturnal for a while. He said what he would do is when he got home after 4 a.m., he would just sleep until 9 a.m. and then start his day. And maybe I could do it. It would be life-changing. I would be able to support myself and my cat, and that would be fantastic. And the Taco Bell job probably also would be enough to support us. And I had such a good feeling out there that I thought like I really could do this job. It's in a truck stop, and yeah, like I wouldn't be using them, but it's interesting to be in a place that has showers and laundry and like a lounge and all this stuff. And I used to live in Japan, and it just kind of reminded me of that. They had a lot more things like that around. And so it was kind of nice, homey vibes, and it's a very clean environment. Not very loud. So yeah, maybe it will work out. I'm very optimistic, and I will keep you posted. Thanks for being here today. Bye.